Have you ever felt like no matter how hard you try, something inside your mind just keeps pulling you back, like you're stuck in the same loop, same habits, same disappointments? Even though deep down you know you're meant for more, you set goals. You try to stay motivated. You even tell yourself you'll change this time. But then a week passes, and you're back where you started. It's frustrating. It's painful. And worst of all, it starts making you believe that maybe this is just who you are. Maybe you're not good enough, smart enough, strong enough. But what if I told you that none of that is true? What if the real problem isn't you but the way your mind has been trained to think? In the book Master Your Mindset by Thibaut Meurisse, the author breaks down how our thoughts shape our life, and how by learning to master your mindset, you can finally take back control. This isn't just another motivational speech. This is real, practical mental training that shows you how to rewire the way you think, act, and live. And the first thing you need to understand is this: your mindset is not fixed, it's not permanent, it's not your destiny. It's just a pattern your brain has been following for years. And that pattern can be changed. Let's start with a simple truth. Most people live their entire lives with a fixed mindset. That means they believe their intelligence, abilities, talents, and potential are set in stone. They think, I'm just not a math person, or I can't speak in public, or I've always been lazy. These statements sound like facts, but really, they're just beliefs, and beliefs can be challenged. They can be reshaped. That's what a growth mindset is all about. A growth mindset believes that you can get better, stronger, smarter if you're willing to try, to fail, to learn, and to try again. Thibaut Meurisse explains that the foundation of mastering your mindset starts with identifying how you see yourself. If deep down, you believe you're a failure or a quitter or someone who always messes things up, then no matter how many motivational videos you watch or goals you set, you'll always find a way to sabotage yourself. Why? Because your actions always match your identity. That means, if you want to change your life, you first have to change how you see yourself. Now, that doesn't happen overnight. You can't just say, I'm confident, and suddenly erase years of self-doubt. But what you can do is start planting new thoughts, one at a time. Thoughts like, I can learn, I'm capable of improving. Even if I fail, I can try again. These simple thoughts act like seeds. The more you repeat them, the more your brain starts to believe them. And once your beliefs start to shift, your behaviors begin to follow. Think about it like this. Imagine two students. One fails a math test. The first student thinks, I'm so stupid. I'll never get this. I'm just bad at math. That's a fixed mindset. The second student thinks, okay, I didn't do well this time, but I can study harder, ask for help, and improve. That's a growth mindset. The difference between the two isn't talent, it's belief. And over time, that belief becomes a powerful force that determines how far each student will go. This applies to everything in life: fitness, relationships, career, creativity. Every area of success depends on your mindset. And if you've been stuck, it's not because you're incapable. It's because your mind has been telling you a story and you've been believing it without questioning it. Thibaut Meurisse also points out that mastering your mindset doesn't mean ignoring your negative thoughts. It means becoming aware of them, catching them, challenging them. When you think, I can't do this, ask yourself, is that really true? Or is that just your talking? When you feel like giving up, remind yourself, this is hard. But hard is not the same as impossible. The author shares that the biggest mental shift comes when you stop seeing obstacles as signs to quit and start seeing them as part of the process. In other words, growth is not clean or perfect. It's messy, it's uncomfortable, but it's worth it. And every time you push through a tough moment, you're training your brain to be stronger next time. So how do you actually begin this process? The book suggests starting with small wins. Don't wait for motivation. Don't wait for the perfect plan. Just take one small step. Wake up a little earlier. Read for 10 minutes. Write your goals down. Do one push-up. These actions might seem tiny, but they're not about results, they're about identity. Every small step you take says something powerful to your brain. I'm someone who takes action. I'm someone who's changing. And once you start building that identity, your brain will start helping you instead of holding you back. You'll Notice that negative thoughts don't last as long, that you bounce back quicker after failure, that you start believing in your ability to figure things out. That's the beginning of mindset mastery. And look, this isn't magic, it's mental conditioning. Just like going to the gym trains your muscles, going through mental reps positive thoughts, or framing. Self-awareness trains your mind. At first, it's hard, but over time, it gets easier. And eventually, it becomes who you are. So if you're watching this and thinking, I've tried before and failed, good, that means you're human. That means you care. And it also means you have everything it takes to try again this time, with a new mindset. Because the truth is, you're not stuck. You're just used to thinking in a certain way. And with the right tools, you can break that pattern and start creating a mindset that actually works for you instead of against you. And master your mindset. Thibaut Meurisse reminds us that our thoughts are not facts. They're just suggestions. And we get to choose which ones we listen to. So the next time your mind says, you can't, respond with, watch me. That one choice, that one moment of belief can be the start of something life-changing. You're not too late. You're not too far gone. You're just one mindset shift away from a completely different life. Asterisk, now that you understand your mindset isn't fixed and that you can shape it over time. It's time to talk about what stands in the way. Because let's be honest, if shifting your mindset were easy, everyone would do it. The real reason most people stay stuck is because of the mental barriers they carry around without even realizing it. These aren't physical blocks. They're invisible walls built out of self-doubt, fear, and limiting beliefs. And in Master Your Mindset, Thibaut Meurisse teaches you exactly how to recognize these blocks and start breaking them down. First, let's talk about negative self-talk. This is the quiet voice in your head that tells you you're not good enough. Maybe it sounds like, I always mess things up, or no one takes me seriously. Or why even try, it never works out. These thoughts might seem like your reality, but in truth, they're just stories your mind has repeated so many times that you've come to believe them. But here's the truth, they're lies. And the moment you start challenging them, they begin to lose their power. The first step to breaking mental barriers is awareness. Most people let these thoughts run on autopilot. They don't question them. They don't challenge them. They just accept them as truth. But Thibaut teaches that you need to treat your thoughts like suggestions, not commands. Just because a thought appears in your mind doesn't mean it deserves to stay there. And once you understand that, you begin to take your power back. So, what does this look like in real life? Imagine you're about to start a new project, maybe launching a business, applying for a better job, or trying something new at the gym. Suddenly your brain floods with fear. What if I fail? What if people laugh at me? What if I'm just not good enough? In that moment, you have two choices. You can believe those thoughts and back down, or you can pause, take a breath, and ask yourself, is this thought helping me or hurting me? If it's hurting you, let it go. Replace it with something that moves you forward. Even if I fail, I'll learn. Everyone starts somewhere. I'm doing this for me. The book explains that breaking free from these thought loops isn't about pretending everything is perfect. It's about shifting your focus to what's possible. You don't need to be fearless. You just need to stop letting fear make your decisions. And you do that by learning to separate yourself from your thoughts. Another common mental block is perfectionism. This might seem like a good thing. Who doesn't want to do things perfectly? But in reality, perfectionism is a form of fear. It's the fear of making mistakes, the fear of looking bad, the fear of not being enough. And what does it lead to? Procrastination, overthinking, constant anxiety. You wait for the perfect time, the perfect plan, the perfect mood, but none of that ever comes. So you stay stuck. Thibaut Meurisse teaches that the way to overcome perfectionism is through action. Done is better than perfect. Progress is better than perfection. And every time you act, even when it's messy, you teach your brain that it's safe to try. You build evidence that you can figure things out along the way. That's how momentum builds. That's how belief starts to grow. One of the most powerful things the author explains is that your subconscious mind is always listening. It's always recording what you say and think. So, when you constantly say things like, I can't, it's too hard, or I'm not that type of person, You're feeding your subconscious a script that limits you. But if you start feeding it new statements like, I'm growing, I'm learning, I'm building courage, then your brain starts to believe that story instead, and when your beliefs change, your behavior changes with them. This is why daily mental habits are so important. In the book, Thibaut encourages creating space each day to reflect and reframe. That could mean journaling your thoughts, writing down your limiting beliefs and replacing them with better ones, or simply taking 5 minutes to sit quietly and observe your thoughts without judgment. The goal isn't to stop thinking negatively altogether. The goal is to stop identifying with those thoughts, to see them as passing clouds, not permanent truths. He also talks about mental conditioning. Just like your muscles grow stronger with repetition at the gym, your mindset grows stronger through repetition of empowering thoughts and behaviors. Think of it like mental reps. Every time you replace a limiting thought with a helpful one, you're doing a mental push-up. Every time you show up even when it's hard, you're reinforcing a new identity. Over time, that repetition changes who you are. But there's another piece that often gets ignored: environment. Your mindset doesn't just live in your head, it's shaped by the people around you, the content you consume, and the habits you follow. If you're constantly surrounded by negative people, or you spend hours every day scrolling through toxic content, it's going to be hard to develop a positive, growth-focused mindset. So one of the most practical ways to break mental barriers is to upgrade your environment. Choose to be around people who believe in growth. Listen to voices that lift you up. Follow habits that support who you want to become. Because your environment is either feeding your fear or feeding your faith. There's also a mental trap called comparison. It's when you look at someone else's success and think, they're better than me, I'll never get there. And suddenly, you feel small and worthy, like you're behind. But what you forget is that you're comparing your behind the scenes to someone else's highlight reel. You don't see their struggles, their failures, their fears. You only see the outcome. And when you compare like that, you rob yourself of your own journey. The boat reminds us that success is not about being better than others. It's about being better than you were yesterday. And if you stay focused on your own path, your own growth, your own mindset, then every step you take is progress. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be moving forward. All of this takes courage, not the loud, fearless kind, but the quiet kind, the kind that shows up in silence when no one's watching, the kind that says, I'm not there yet, but I'm willing to try. That's the courage that builds momentum. That's the courage that transforms lives. By now, you might be starting to notice a shift. Maybe you're thinking about the thoughts you repeat to yourself every day. Maybe you're starting to realize that your biggest enemy isn't out there, it's in here. But that's good, because if the problem is in your mind, then the solution is there too. You don't need to wait for anyone to rescue you. You don't need anyone's permission to grow. You already have what you need. You just need to start using it. Remember, thoughts are not facts. Fear is not truth. And failure is not the end. It's the beginning of growth. So the next time your mind tries to hold you back, take a step forward anyway, even a small one, because every step forward is a vote for the person you're becoming. Asterisk, if you've come this far, you already understand something most people never realize. Your mind is not just a place where thoughts appear randomly. It's a tool that can either be used to build you up or tear you down. And the truth is, you are the one who chooses how it's used. Thibaut Meurisse in Master Your Mindset explains that positive thinking is not about ignoring problems or pretending everything is perfect. It's about creating an inner environment where growth, change, and progress become possible. Your thoughts become your reality not because of magic, but because your brain acts on the instructions it receives. If you constantly tell yourself you're not good enough, your brain will start looking for proof. But if you start telling yourself that you're capable, worthy, and growing, your brain will look for proof of that too. Let's take a moment to talk about visualization. Visualization is one of the most powerful mental tools you can use to reprogram your mindset. And no, it's not some fluffy concept. It's backed by science. When you visualize yourself doing something successfully, whether it's giving a speech, lifting a heavy weight, or making a confident decision, your brain activates the same neural pathways as if you were actually doing it in real life. That means you're training your brain to believe in a future that hasn't happened yet. And the more you see it clearly, the more natural it becomes for your body and your actions to follow that image. But most people do the opposite. They visualize failure. They play worst-case scenarios in their minds over and over. They imagine themselves messing up, being rejected, or looking foolish. Then they wonder why they're so anxious or afraid to take action. The brain doesn't know the difference between something imagined vividly and something real. So if you're constantly feeding it fear, doubt, and negative images, it's going to treat those as your reality. Thibaut explains that you must take control of your inner movie. Instead of imagining what can go wrong, start imagining what can go right. Picture yourself waking up with energy. Picture yourself speaking confidently. Picture yourself handling challenges with calm and strength. It's not about pretending you have everything figured out. It's about training your brain to feel safe, prepared, and confident in the face of uncertainty. Here's a simple exercise you can start today. Every morning, before you pick up your phone or talk to anyone, close your eyes for just 2 minutes. Take a few deep breaths and visualize your day. Picture yourself walking through the day with clarity, strength, and confidence. Visualize completing your tasks, dealing with problems calmly, and ending the day proud of yourself. This small act sets a tone for your entire day. It gives your brain a blueprint to follow. The same goes for affirmations. Affirmations are not about lying to yourself. They're about feeding your subconscious with a new story. You've been repeating the same negative script for years. I'm not ready. I'm too slow. I never finish what I start. It's time to write a new script. One that supports your growth. Start saying things like, I am getting better every day. I am in control of my choices. I am capable of achieving what matters to me. You don't have to believe them fully at first. You just have to say them consistently. Over time, your subconscious starts to adopt these new truths. And here's the key: speak your affirmations out loud. When you say them with your voice, you activate more areas of your brain. You hear them, you feel them, they become real. Thibaut also emphasizes the importance of saying them with emotion. Don't just repeat them like a robot. Say them like you mean it, like your life depends on it, because in a way, it does. Your mental environment shapes your actions. Your actions shape your life. Now let's talk about gratitude. Gratitude might seem simple, but it is a massive force when it comes to shifting your mindset. Most people wake up and immediately focus on what's wrong, what they don't have, what they're behind on. This creates stress and frustration before the day even begins. But when you start your day with gratitude, you shift your focus to what's already working. And that creates a sense of abundance and peace. It reminds your brain that not everything is falling apart, that there's still beauty, still progress, still hope. Try this every day. Write down 3 things you're grateful for. It could be as simple as having clean water, a quiet moment to breathe, or a friend who checked in on you. These little moments create a powerful shift. They train your brain to see the good instead of constantly scanning for the bad. One of the most overlooked aspects of positive thinking is self-image. Thibaut explains that we all carry around a mental picture of who we are, and that picture controls what we believe we're capable of. If you see yourself as shy, weak, or lazy, you'll behave in ways that match that image even if you don't want to. But if you begin to see yourself as someone who's disciplined, confident, and capable, your actions will start aligning with that new image. Changing your self-image starts with small wins. Every time you do something that matches the person you want to become, even something tiny, you reinforce that new identity. For example, let's say you want to become someone who's fit and healthy. Every time you go for a walk, even for 5 minutes, tell yourself, see, I'm someone who takes care of their body. If you want to be more focused, and you manage to read 1 page of a book, say, I'm someone who feeds my mind with good knowledge. These statements are more powerful than you realize. They rewire your self-perception. It's also important to remember that this process takes time. You can't undo years of negative conditioning in 1 week. You have to keep going, especially on the days when it feels pointless. Progress is not always visible, but it's always happening. Every time you choose a positive thought over a negative one, you win. Every time you act with belief instead of fear, you win. And every time you show up for yourself, even when it's hard, you win. There will be days when the negative thoughts feel louder. When doubt creeps back in. That's normal. That's human. Don't see those days as failure. See them as training. You're building mental muscles. And just like in the gym, growth doesn't come from the easy reps. It comes from the hard ones, the ones that burn, the ones that test you, the ones where you push through anyway. Thibaut reminds us again and again in Master Your Mindset that you are not your thoughts. You are the awareness behind them. And once you realize that, you become free. Free to let go of the thoughts that hold you back. Free to choose new thoughts that serve your growth. Free to create a life that reflects who you really are. The real power of positive thinking isn't just in feeling good. It's in seeing clearly. It's in taking control. In building a mindset that supports your dreams instead of sabotaging them. Because the truth is, your outer world will always reflect your inner world. If your mind is full of fear, your actions will be hesitant. If your mind is full of faith, your actions will be bold. That's the difference. That's the edge. That's the mastery. So as you move forward, start paying attention to the story you're telling yourself. And if that story isn't helping you grow, then change it. You're the author. You get to choose the ending. And it all starts with what you think, what you visualize, and what you say to yourself every single day. Confidence is not something you're born with. It's something you build. And just like you don't grow muscles overnight, you don't wake up one day suddenly full of belief and self-assurance. Confidence grows with action. It grows every time you do something you thought you couldn't do. Every time you show up despite fear. Every time you follow through on a promise you made to yourself. Thibaut Meurisse explains in Master Your Mindset that confidence is a skill, not a trait. That means anyone can develop it, you, me, anyone. But you have to stop waiting for it to appear before you start. Confidence comes from the doing, not the waiting. Think about the times you felt the most proud of yourself. Maybe it was after finishing something hard, standing up for yourself, or pushing through discomfort. That pride, that energy didn't come from sitting back and wishing. It came from movement, from facing resistance and not backing down. That's where real self-confidence is built, in the fire, not the comfort zone. So what's the first step to building it? Discipline. Discipline is not punishment. It's self-respect. It's choosing what you want most over what you want right now. It's waking up when your alarm rings even if your bed is warm. It's saying no to distractions because your goals matter more. Discipline is the bridge between your intentions and your outcomes. Without it, motivation dies fast. Thibaut makes it clear that mastering your mindset isn't about feeling motivated all the time. In fact, motivation is unreliable. Some days you'll feel like it, and other days you won't. But discipline doesn't care how you feel. Discipline shows up, and the more you practice it, the stronger it gets. It becomes part of your identity. You go from "I have to force myself" to "this is just who I am now." Start small. Wake up 10 minutes earlier. Finish a task you've been avoiding. Go for a walk when you'd rather scroll your phone. These seem like small things, but they're huge. They're signals to your brain that you are the kind of person who follows through. And that builds confidence. Each time you act with discipline, you cast a vote for your new identity. And over time, those votes add up. You start to believe, "I'm someone who does hard things. I'm someone who keeps going." But here's where most people get stuck. Fear. The fear of failure. The fear of looking stupid. The fear of being judged. Fear is the invisible wall between where you are and where you want to be. And if you don't learn how to deal with fear, it will control your life. Thibaut says something powerful in the book. Fear is not your enemy. Fear is your compass. If you're afraid of something that matters, it usually means you should move toward it, not away from it. That doesn't mean you do everything recklessly. It means you listen to the fear, examine it, and then act anyway. Because on the other side of fear is growth. Everything you want: confidence, respect, clarity, success lives on the other side of fear. And the only way to reach it is to walk through. So how do you actually face fear? You do it step by step. Don't try to conquer everything in one giant leap. That leads to overwhelm. Instead, break it down. If you're afraid of public speaking, Start by speaking to a small group. If you're afraid of launching something online, start by sharing your thoughts in a short post. If you're scared of the gym, start with a 15-minute workout at home. The goal isn't to erase fear. The goal is to shrink it through action. Fear thrives in silence and avoidance, but it shrinks when you face it head-on. There's also a mental technique that helps here: reframing. Reframing means you change the meaning of your fear. Instead of saying, "I'm scared, so this must be wrong," say, "I'm scared because this matters." That small shift turns fear into fuel. Suddenly, fear becomes a sign that you're stretching, growing, becoming someone new. And that's powerful. Another way to handle fear is through preparation. Fear often grows when we feel unprepared, so take time to prepare. Study, practice, do your research. But don't fall into the trap of endless preparation without action. Learn enough to take the first step, then take it. Clarity comes from doing, not just thinking. The more you act, the clearer everything becomes. The path reveals itself when your feet are moving. Something else Thibaut talks about is self-trust. Fear gets louder when you don't trust yourself. When you break promises to yourself, your confidence drops. But when you keep promises, even tiny ones, your self-trust builds. Start by making micro-promises. I will write for 5 minutes. I will drink 1 glass of water first thing in the morning. I will meditate for 60 seconds. When you keep these small commitments, you prove to yourself that your word matters, that you can rely on you. And that's a big deal. There's one more truth about fear. Most of the time, it's just a story. It's your brain trying to protect you from pain, but the pain it's trying to avoid is often imaginary. We fear rejection, but most people are too busy with their own lives to judge us. We fear failure, but failure is how we learn. We fear not being good enough, but that's just a belief, not a fact. You have to learn to talk back to fear. When your brain says, "What if I fail?" respond with, "What if I grow?" When it says, "You're not ready," say, "No one is ever fully ready. Let's go anyway." This is mental training. And just like physical training, it takes repetition. The first few times you talk back to fear, it won't listen, but keep going. Eventually, fear stops being your master and becomes your teacher. Courage is not about eliminating fear. It's about acting in spite of it. It's about walking into the unknown, shaking, sweating, and uncertain, and still choosing to go forward. That's real courage. And every time you practice it, you become stronger. Your mindset becomes unbreakable. Thibaut also reminds us that confidence and fear are not opposites. They often show up together. Confidence doesn't mean you're never afraid. It means you don't let fear control your choices. It means you trust yourself to figure things out along the way. That's the mindset you're building, one step at a time, one decision at a time. So if you're feeling stuck, afraid, or unsure, good, that means you're close to something important. Don't run from it. Lean in. You don't have to know all the answers. You just have to keep showing up, keep trying, keep growing. Because the more you do, the more you become the person who doesn't just dream but acts. And remember, self-discipline is love. Fear is your compass. And confidence is something you earn through repeated courage. You are not powerless. You are not broken. You are becoming. Every time you choose progress over perfection, every time you act despite fear, every time you stay true to your word, you take a step toward the best version of you. And it all starts with your mindset. Everything we've talked about, your thoughts, your beliefs, your habits, your fears, it all comes back to one central truth. Your mindset is your foundation. It's not just the way you think. It's the way you live. Your mindset is the lens through which you see the world, the story you tell yourself about who you are and what you're capable of. And the moment you take control of that lens, your entire life begins to change. You've seen how negative thoughts can quietly sabotage your potential, how fear, self-doubt, and limiting beliefs can trap you in a cycle of hesitation and regret. But you've also learned that none of those things are permanent. Your mindset is not set in stone, it's flexible, it's moldable, and you have the power to reshape it, one decision at a time. There's something deeply empowering in that realization, because no matter how broken your past feels, no matter how lost you might be right now, you're not stuck. You're not doomed to repeat the same cycles. You are not the product of your circumstances. You are the product of your choices. And when you start choosing to believe in your ability to grow, to change, to rise, you take your life back. But here's the catch. This journey is not a one-time shift. It's a daily practice. There will be days when your old mindset tries to pull you back, days when fear gets loud, when discipline feels impossible, when your goals feel too far away. And that's okay. You're human. You're not supposed to be perfect. You're supposed to keep going, because growth doesn't come from doing everything right. It comes from not giving up when things go wrong. It comes from choosing courage over comfort, from standing back up when you fall, from trusting that even your smallest efforts are building something bigger than you can see right now. Thibaut Meurisse makes it clear, you don't need to be extraordinary to live an extraordinary life. You just need to be consistent. You need to become the kind of person who shows up on good days, on bad days, and every day in between. The kind of person who takes ownership of their mindset and refuses to be defined by fear, failure, or the opinions of others. So ask yourself right now, who do you want to become? Do you want to be the person who plays it safe, avoids discomfort, and lets life happen to them? Or do you want to be the person who leans into challenge, rewrites their inner dialogue, and builds a life of purpose and power starting from the inside out? Because no one is coming to save you. No external achievement will give you the peace you're searching for. It begins within. The real battle is not out there. It's in your head. And when you win that battle, everything else follows. Your dreams, they're possible. That version of you keep imagining, they're real. But they're waiting on you to take the first step. Not next month, not next year. Today, right now. So take a breath, take ownership, and take action. Because the life you want is not found in more wishing, more scrolling, or more excuses. It's found in building an unshakable mindset, one decision, one thought, one habit at a time. You are not broken. You are not behind. You are becoming. So go become. Asterisk if this message hit home for you, don't let it fade away. Like this video if you're ready to master your mindset. Subscribe to the channel so you never miss content that pushes you to grow. And if you're serious about making a change, drop a comment below with one mindset shift you're committing to today.